A Maryland high school student was blocked from playing at a recent basketball game because she did not have official documentation that the headscarf she wears is necessary to her religious beliefs. Now, the case is getting national attention, as you can see from this tweet by 17 Magazine, whose Twitter account has more than 1 million followers. A news conference is slated for later this morning for more information, but we want to get a preview ahead of that right now. Joining us now from the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, is Zainab Chaudhry, who is the Maryland Outreach Manager for CAIR. Thanks for joining us this morning. What will we learn at the news conference later this morning?
Well, you're going to hear from the student, Janan Hayes, and from her mother and from her coach directly about, her situation, her story, what happened with her. This is a vibrant, beautiful young teenager who is clearly talented. She made the varsity team at her high school. She has the skills to, play basketball with her high school team, and she played 24 games, and her team made it to the regional finals. And when they went to go play in Prince George's County, she was told by the referee that she could not play because of her headscarf. Now, mind you, she had played 24 games in Montgomery County prior to this game in Prince George's County, and she had not been told anything about needing an exception letter or anything like that. So this came as a complete shock to her and to her family. She was benched, she was not able to play, and her team lost. And this is something that really has had a profound effect on her, and I'm sure it's had an effect on many other young teens who wear the headscarf or who wear religious headgear, who have been impacted by this story and who now feel discouraged about whether or not they would be able to play in sports or be athletic because of their religious beliefs.
So the rule, and again, this young lady played all season, played 24 games without an issue until it came up in this finals game. But this rule that was cited by the referee in the game that said she did not have documentation for wearing any type of head covering in the game, that is a national rule, and that comes from an organization on high school athletics based out of the state of Indiana. Can anything be done on the national level? Is that what you're looking for, change here? What is it exactly that you're calling for?
Yeah, so we're actually looking for a two-pronged solution. One would be diversity training for the secondary contractors who are appointed by the statewide board who provides referees to these schools in games, high school games in different districts across the state. And we're also looking for a policy change from the national level. The National Federation of High Schools is the overarching body that determines what the rules are for these games. And clearly this is a rule that is not being applied across the board. It seems to be antiquated in the sense that it doesn't take into account that there are a growing number of teens, youth who have diverse religious beliefs, who are qualified, clearly qualified to play different sports, and who are being barred from being able to compete. And I think that it requires us to be able to look at this situation from a holistic perspective, especially from the perspective of a young teen who, has a passion for sports, right? Sports is something that all Americans can pretty much, unite behind. It brings people of diverse backgrounds together at the table, and people should not be discriminated against because their religious beliefs when it comes to determining whether or not they can play.
Let me just jump in for a second here, because we don't have much time. I want to make sure we get as much of this covered as we can. This young woman was not challenged throughout the season as she played in those 24 games. Was she aware? Did anybody make her aware that she needed to have this letter at some point? Was there a reason that she did not have it? Were they simply not aware that they needed it? What was the backstory there as far as being in compliance with whatever this national rule is?
Yeah, so there's a different secondary subcontractor who provides referees for Montgomery County games versus Prince George's County games. And the contractor who provided games for the referees for the Montgomery County games were not aware that there was such a rule in effect, that the family needed to provide an exception letter, or the teen needed to provide an exception letter that needed to be on file. So as long as she played in Montgomery County, she did not have any problems. However, there was a different company, a different contractor who was providing a referee for the referees for the games in Prince George's County at Oxon Hill High School. And this referee benched her and told her that she would not be allowed to play. Now, it's important to note that the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association director did issue an apology letter. He did apologize for the inconvenience and for the hurt and for the embarrassment to the family. He did say that this should not have happened, so we welcome that, but we want to make sure that this doesn't happen again to her or to anybody else.
All right, super quick. Is she going to play next year? I know she says she wants to play, but if this is not settled, if it's the same situation as it is now, will she play?
We're going to do our best to make sure that she's able to play. She's a very talented, very vibrant young lady, and we look forward to seeing her on the court.
All right, more information coming out later today, but we do appreciate you sharing it with us ahead of time. Thank you very much, Naeem Chaudhry with CAIR.